Now I'm still looking at algebra here, one-step equations, but this is the second video using one-step equations. Now you'll remember from the previous video that our goal in all of these questions is to get x by itself. We want x by itself on one side of the equation and some number on the other side of the equation. That's the whole game when it comes to algebra. Let's take a look. So here's our first example, 2x equals 16. Now, some of you will know what 2x means, and some of you are going to have a little bit of trouble with that. If you see a number next to a letter with nothing in between them, they're stuck right next to each other, that means that there's a tiny little multiply sign there. So that actually says 2 times x equals 16. 2 times x. So if you ever see a number, 2x, 4x, 5x, 12x, whatever it might be, that just means that means multiply. 2 times x equals 16. Now remember, we can do anything we want as long as we do the same thing on both sides of our equation. So here we have 2 times x equals 16, and we need to do the opposite of 2 times to get x by itself. Now what's the opposite of times or multiply? Divide. Okay, so here, if I do 2x divided by 2, and I'm going to use this sign for divide, 2x divided by 2 equals 16 divided by 2. Now all I'm saying is as long as I do something to the left and I do it to the right, I'm okay. That's algebra. Left hand side, right hand side. Now 2x divided by 2, so 2 times anything, doesn't matter what it is, divided by 2, that means that those 2's are going to cancel out. And we're going to be left with x. Now 16 divided by 2, don't be scared, you can pick up your calculator here and figure this out. I'm going to do it up here. 16 divided by 2 is equal to 8. And there's our answer. Now you guys probably could have done that in your head without all of this algebra. 2 times something equals 16. 2 times 8, well 2 times 8 equals 16. Job done. We're learning all of this algebra so we can do it in more complicated questions as we move forward. Okay, so I've just divided both sides by 2 and there's my answer. Let's have another try. Okay, this one's going to look a little bit different. 20 equals 4x, which you guys know means 4 times x. Now you're probably looking at this going, wait a minute, x has always been on the left-hand side. Doesn't matter. X can be on the left-hand side, x can be on the right-hand side, but as long as we understand that we need to get x by itself, and we always have to do the same thing to both sides, we're okay. Now, we need x to be by itself, but this pesky 4 is in the way. Now, how do we get rid of 4 times x? What's the opposite of 4 times? Well, it's divide by 4. So it's 4x divided by 4. That's going to get rid of those 4's for us. But remember, anything we do to the to the right-hand side, this side, we have to do to the other side as well. 20 divided by 4. So on this side, we're going to have 4x divided by 4. Those 4's are going to cancel out, and all that's going to be left is x, which is great. X is by itself. And 20 divided by 4, you can grab your calculator if you like, but 20 divided by 4 is going to be equal to 5. Now, it doesn't matter which way I read this. I can say x is equal to 5, or I can say 5 is equal to x. It doesn't matter. Same thing. I can even write it the other way if I want to. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now I know what x is. You guys could have done this without all of this fancy algebra, but we need the fancy algebra for later. So you need to learn it with the easy stuff, so then we can do it with more difficult stuff later. 20 equals 4 times something. 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is equal to 20. And there's our answer there. Just one more here so you can have a look at some that are a little more complicated. 3.2x equals 12.8. Now I can't do that in my head because there's all these weird decimals. 3.2 times something equals 12.8. But I can do it with some algebra. Now remember, 3.2 times something equals 12.8. Now, in order to get rid of the 3.2 and get x by itself, I need to divide that by 3.2. And that'll get rid of those 3.2s. Now, anything that I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So I divided that side by 12.8, so I have to divide this side by 12.8. They're going to cancel out, which leaves me with x on this side. And on your calculator, if you do 12.8 divided by 3.2, you'll get an answer of 4. Okay, so that's really one-step equations. It's the second video here where we're looking at if there's a multiply here, 3.2 times x, how can we get rid of it? The opposite of multiply is divide. So that's all there is to it. Do the same thing to the left-hand side as you do to the right-hand side, and always try to get x by itself. All right, that's it for one-step equations part 2. We're going to look at a third one in just a moment.